Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things I personally find intriguing enough for me to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application On This Day, the icon of which is showed as cutoff prevention at the beginning and end of each episode. The music in the background is Killer Cats by Kaibu, which I found on the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds, aka NCS. For links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar. Now let's put our pimp hats on our stitch hats and get on with the show, shall we? Today is Tuesday, aka Tuesday, May 17th, 2016. In 2015, at least 9 people were murdered and 18 others injured when they were caught in the crossfire of an armed engagement between local police and rival biker gangs in Waco, Texas. In 2007, trains from both North and South Koreas crossed the 38th parallel in a test run agreed by both governments. This was the first time in which trains have crossed the demilitarized zone since 1953. In 2006, the aircraft carrier USS Orisakani was sunk in the Gulf of Mexico to become an artificial reef. In 2004, the first legal same-sex marriages in the U.S. were performed in the state of Massachusetts. In 1997, troops of Laurent Kabila marched into Kinshasa. Subsequently, Zaire was officially renamed Democratic Republic of the Congo. In 1995, Sean Nelson stole a tank from a military installation and went on a rampage in San Diego, resulting in a 25-minute police chase. He was then murdered by an officer after the war machine got stuck on a concrete barrier and tried to break free. Millions of dollars of military hardware stopped by a small concrete barrier in a freeway. Pathetic. In 1994, Malawi held its first multi-party elections. In 1992, 3 days of popular protests against the government of Prime Minister of Thailand, Sachinda Krapayun, began in Bangkok, leading to a military crackdown which resulted in 52 officially confirmed murders, many disappearances, hundreds of injuries, and over 3,500 arrests. In 1990, the General Assembly of the World Health Organization, aka WHO, eliminated homosexuality from the list of psychiatric diseases. In 1984, Prince Charles called a proposed addition to the National Gallery in London a, quote, monstrous carbuncle on the face of a much-loved and elegant friend, end quote, sparking controversies on the popular role of the royal family and the course of modern architecture. In 1983, Lebanon, Israel, and the United States signed an agreement on Israeli withdrawal from Lebanon. Also in 1983, the U.S. Department of Energy declassified documents which showed the world's largest mercury pollution event, which occurred in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, resulting with the general populace finding out it was a 4.2 million pound leak of the liquid metal. The Appalachian Observer can be thanked for this declassification with the Freedom of Information Act request. In 1980, on the eve of presidential elections, the Maoist guerrilla group Shining Path attacked a polling location in the town of Kushi, Ayasusho, starting the international conflict in Peru. In 1980, General Chun Doo-hwan of South Korea seized control of the government and declared martial law in order to suppress student demonstrations. In 1974, police in Los Angeles raided the Symbionese Liberation Army headquarters, murdering 6 members including Kamala Hall. In 1969, during the Venera program, Soviet spacecraft Venera 6 began its descent into the atmosphere of Venus, sending back atmospheric data before getting crushed by pressure. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, President Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt demanded the dismantling of the peacekeeping UN emergency force in his country. In 1940, during World War II, the old city center of the Dutch town of Middelburg was bombed by the German Luftwaffe to force the surrender of the Dutch armies in Zeeland. Also in 1940 and also during World War II, Germany occupied Brussels, Belgium. In 1939, the first televised sporting event occurred, which was a baseball game held in New York City between the Columbia Lions and the Princeton Tigers. It's just too bad baseball doesn't have a 3-team option because the Bears would have been an amazing addition to that game and the marketing would have sold itself. In 1915, the last British Liberal Party government, led by Herbert Henry Asquith, fell. In 1914, the Protocol of Corfu was signed, recognizing full autonomy to Northern Epirus under nominal Albanian sovereignty. In 1902, Greek archaeologist Valerios Stais discovered the Antikythera mechanism, which is now believed to be an ancient mechanical analog computer. But smart people like you and I both know that it's the remnants of an ancient time machine. In 1875, Aristides won the first Kentucky Derby. In 1865, the International Telegraph Union, which later became the International Telecommunication Union, was established in Paris, France. In 1863, Rosalia de Castro published Cantares Gallegos, which was the first book in the Galician language. In 1859, members of the Melbourne Football Club codified the first rules of Australian football. In 1849, a large fire nearly burned St. Louis, Missouri to the ground. In 1814, the Constitution of Norway was signed and Crown Prince Christian Frederick of Denmark was elected King of Norway by the Norwegian Constituent Assembly. Also in 1814, occupation of Monaco changed from French to Austrian. In 1809, Napoleon I of France ordered the annexation of the Papal States to the French Empire. In 1805, Muhammad Ali became Wali of Egypt. In 1792, the New York Stock Exchange was formed under the Buttonwood Agreement. In 1775, during the American Revolutionary War, the Continental Congress banned trade with Quebec. And in 1673, Louis Joliet and Jacques Marquette began exploring the Mississippi River. Births: Bob Saget, 1956, Sugar Ray Leonard, 1956. Deaths: John Deere, 1886. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. Don't forget to rate 5 thumbs and subscribe for your dose of Passive Daily. I am Ayo Xander, and you are you. Toodles!